right, everyone. Welcome to our live coding. Today, we're going to just take a few minutes and look at Google Analytics and a way that we can start to get our analytics information, put it into Airtable. We're just going to do something practical. And this one requires a few steps. So anyway, I wanted to go over it. So I have created here a new schedule. Okay, so schedule trigger. And I have this going every day at 2 o'clock in the morning. And this is just a 3-node part, but you can do so much with it. But let's look at the get a report from Google Analytics. And here, if we come over here and we look at what analytics have available, we have get a report and we have search user activity data. These are the two options kind of that we have. Now we can do a custom API call, which is important to know. But these actions have, let's delete that. We don't really need that one. We can use this one. But we have inside of get a report, we have get a report and custom API call. And in order to make this work, we have to do a couple of steps. First, we have to have a property type. We also have to get our ID. And of course, we have to actually connect such that we, let's see here, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So we can get property by URL or ID. I do recommend by ID. And one important thing to note here, and we'll come back to this, but that ID does require the double curly brackets. And so that is actually an expression that we need to look at here. So we'll show you how to get that and we'll come back to it. But we also have date range. So you have quite a bit of options here. I run it every day. So yesterday is the one I'm looking for. And then you can begin to pick your metrics. And you add a metric here by saying add a metric and deciding what it is that you want. I'm going to remove this one because I don't need that particular one. But we can add that. We also have this dimension what we split by. So you can split by color, country, date, item name, location, a lot of options here as well. I'm splitting by date, but you do have, all kinds of options. If we run this real quick, we can see that we get back an object, and that object has each one of these metrics: sessions, 7-day, total users, page views, and events. And so that's what comes back in our object. Okay. So we're going to take that and then we push that into an Airtable, and the Airtable is just set up as always. We take the information from here and put that in. So let's look at the Airtable real quick. So here you can see that this ran on the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Here is some data with that. How many, page views, screen views, events, etc. And this is the information. Now, what's really cool is you do have options here, right? You can start to build interfaces. You could add graphs. You can look at your data however you want. But these 6 fields, they match the 6 fields that we get from our Google Analytics. Back over, where's that? Over here. Okay, so that's these fields right here. So how do we set this up? All right, first of all, you do have to have Google set up as a credential and a project. And there is a video for that I have right here, how to set up Google API in N8N. If you go and you follow this, you will have everything you need except for the Google Analytics. And Google Analytics is just in a little bit of a different spot. When we come to our library here, if we go to library instead of doing the search, and we come and we search for analytics, okay, and if we just click enter so we can search, notice we have different options. That is not really what we need. What we need is to come to the APIs and services, to the library, and then search analytics. And what you need is this data API here. Notice it's already set up. Okay, so this is already set up, and this is the one that we actually need for the node. So make sure that you come here, and the way you can do that, if you're in this position and you don't know where it's at, come right here to the quick access, and then inside of here, go to library, and then we have analytics, and when you search for analytics, then come to analytics data. And now mine says manage, but if you haven't enabled it, you will have already enabled it. If you have set up the Google credentials here, then all you need to do in N8N is go to your credentials. Let's save that. Okay, so let's go to our credentials. Come over here and say create a credential, and then you would do Google Analytics, and we have, so oops, it's right here, Google Analytics off. And so then when you continue, you will use the same client ID and the same client secret that you use for all of your other accounts. So that's important to remember, is that once you have set up your Google credentials over here for YouTube and Drive and every other thing, also do Google Analytics and set that up. And if we come over here and we find the, let's see, here it is. So we have our client and our secret, and then you will sign in with Google exactly the same way that you do with everything else, with YouTube, Drive, Docs, Sheets, all of those. The process is exactly the same. The only difference is how you get the API enabled. Once you've set that up and you've connected it, then you need to go to Google Analytics. Okay. And then what you need to do is go to property settings, and that is available right here, property ID. So you'll just copy that. When you copy this, then go back to N8N. So you've already set up your Google Analytics. Now, when you go into your workflow, let's see which one. I think it's this one. When you go, so trigger in this case, then in Google Analytics, report is the resource. The operation is get. Okay, that's really the only option other than custom. Choose Google Analytics 4. And then for property, change this to from, I think the default it shows is from list, but change this to by ID, and then make this an expression. And you'll come here and you'll put in double curly brackets and paste it. And when it turns green, you'll know that it is the right document. And this one, 803, matches our 803 here, right? And then you can go ahead and pick your settings, and then wherever you want to deposit that information. Maybe you use Google Sheets. So you would just say plus, after the analytics, you would just say plus Google Sheets. And then when you run this, so if we execute the entire flow, and that goes to our, so here is, of course, the date will be duplicated. We'll refresh that. And so we have 2 of them for the 16th. And so notice our user has changed a little bit, but excuse me. But then you will, I'll delete one here. We don't need too many, right? So we have each day, and then you would do whatever you want with it. So this is a simple automation. I'm going to show it to you one more time. Trigger daily, or however often you want. I mean, you could do it weekly or whatever. Your Google Analytics, and just to recap through that, that's report, get, Google Analytics, and by ID. And then in my case, I'm doing date range yesterday, session per user, 7-day active users, total users, page views, and events. But you can choose those, add whatever you want, pick how you're going to split. The default is by date. And then when you execute that, you should see something similar to this. Then the next step is wherever you want to put it, whatever you want to do with it. So I would put it in a storage of some kind, Sheets, Notion, Airtable. You can put it in a database if you want. And then from here, you can decide how you want to visualize it. Do you want to put this in, do you want graphs here? Do you want to do some form of AI? You would just continue your train of thought. And to get the Google API, I'm going to show you that one more time as well, just because it's kind of confusing. You have to have a Google Cloud project that is all of your Google credential, right? You will go to your APIs and services. Once that loads, you will then go to library, and here you will search for analytics, and make sure that it is Google Analytics data here, and that you, there you go, enable that. Then you will go to your Google Analytics, to property details. You will grab the detail ID here, and then back inside of your N8N, you will put that ID, property by ID, double curly brackets, and the ID. And that's all that it takes. So I hope you found this helpful and useful. If we have any questions, post those in the discussion or in a thread, and we'll take care of it. All right, everyone, have a great day and take care.